I have a huge can of worms here for you guys. So as we're getting into kind of scientific farming and using satellites and all these, can you guys tell me what limitations you're starting to encounter with quantifying, what Mother Nature's just doing naturally?
Go ahead, Simon. Bring it close and
Okay, there you go. Crop rotation, water management, GPS is important, less trips around the field, less fuel usage, less exhaust into the air, auto track for alfalfa. When we cut our alfalfa, you're overlapping maybe 6 to 8 inches instead of a foot to 2. When you're row cropping, you're not having any more guest rows. I think all that together to help with the environment, and then really watch, we're really trying to watch our crop rotation. I know it was mentioned earlier about some kernza and saffloin. We're going to do that. Uses less water. Might be something we can utilize for the cattle operation for feed purposes, less bloating. So I think answer to your question, it's going to take both to utilize what GPS information is available to us, along with the auto steer, and take advantage of those opportunities to make less trips around a farm our size. Makes a big difference. If you can get across 1,000 acres a lot quicker and using a lot less exhaust in the air, per se. I might answer some of your question.
anybody else?
I think for us, what I see, especially for the smaller farmers, is the hurdle of the costs of this. I just saw a laser robot that would actually shoot the weeds. It could identify using AI and identify the weeds and shoot it with a laser. I mean, $2 million, not too many farmers I know can buy one of those machines. And the other question I was actually going to ask Bart this is, the conversation, especially around water, is that conversation around conservation versus efficiency. Oftentimes, people don't realize actually when you increase your efficiency, you're actually going to use more water. The consumptive use, you may get more tonnage of crop off of that because they're healthier because you're providing just the right amount of water than you would have before. So it's an interesting dilemma when we have these conversations.
And Bart, what do you say to that?
I would say a lot of people are really surprised how much water it takes to grow crops, but it really does. It takes an awful lot of water. I think 70 to 80% of the Colorado River it goes to agricultural production. There is an awful lot of new technology on the horizon that's going to allow us to be more efficient in how we farm. But at the end of the day, there's a consumptive use coefficient for every crop that is fixed. It's calculatable. I mean, you can go to your local farm advisor and he'll tell you what it is. So if it's a crop of alfalfa, it's going to use X acre feet a year to produce that. And that acre feet may be different in the upper basin and the lower basin, but there's going to be a calculated crop coefficient for each crop, and there's not much going away from that. If you irrigate that crop less and in deficit, you'll have less production, and then that goes to the business side of what we do with our lives and our businesses.
So, go ahead,
Yeah,
Simon.
one more thing I want to add is the nozzles that are available these days. We went from 8.2, which doesn't seem like a lot, to 6.8. But as the chairman mentioned earlier, we are desert farming. We came up with about 7.5 that we can utilize on these new nozzle packages. So it is some savings of water, but you're right. It takes the next amount of water to grow an alfalfa crop or a corn crop. And is there other crops out there that can match the financial obligation to keep employees, intact, is one of them. But we are toying with nozzles on how much we can gear back on water usage per acre.
Okay, thanks for that question. I think we're going to have to wrap it there. We have these great farmers for another couple hours. We have great farmers up and down the Colorado River. If you want to keep cheese on your pizza, ice cream on your dessert tray, fresh veggies all year round, we can't give this up. And if we want to keep our local economy strong. So with that, thank you very much.